Everyone can use grande cheese. Everyone can put Ezzo, pepperonis and shit on their pizza. All that stuff isn't yours. Your profile is this piece of bread.
That was Alex Coons of Purgatory Pizza and Hot Tongue Pizza. And it's your boy, Idrift, and you're listening to the What's Good Dough podcast. Whether it's pizza, business, or life, my guest and I are always talking about ways we can level up. Today, you're going to hear from Alex, who started off as a delivery boy, who worked his way up eventually to ownership, really, at Purgatory Pizza. Then, in 2022, Alex opened up Hot Tongue Pizza, a vegan-only pizzeria serving up amazing food in Los Angeles. And if you're thinking, wait, isn't it expensive to open up a pizzeria in Los Angeles? You're right. Finally, we talk about social media and creating content for your restaurant today. If you want to follow along, there is a transcription on my website for this entire episode that is auto-generated. Feel free to check it out. The link is in the description. This is an amazing episode, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And remember to always ask, what's good, dough? What's up, everybody? I have with me today an amazing guest, owner of not one, but two pizzerias in the Los Angeles area. Hell yeah. Alex Coons, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Cool. There's one way I like to start the show. There's no right or wrong answer. What's good, dough?
All right. I've been waiting for this question.
Yeah.
What's good? In the literal sense, life is good. I love waking up. I love getting after it. I love growth. I love a new day. What good dough to me is time. A lot of people say good ingredients or, this, that, and the other thing. But I think like with whatever you have, as long as you know what you're doing and you put the time in it, whether that be just the time learning how to do it or fermentation wise, like, doing 3-day ferments or bench folds or whatever, but you can take the simplest ingredients and just come with the most fire ass dough if you take the time.
The most fire ass dough does come with time, for real. I feel like time isn't stressed enough. There are some people who are huge advocates of it. I've heard John Arena say time is an ingredient. I've heard Ken Forkish write in his book, time is key. But like whenever you go to these blogs and websites, they don't really focus too much on that ingredient.
Yeah, I think it's like something you learn too, because it wasn't something that I was super incorporating myself, but like the names that you mentioned and like other people like Peter Reinhardt or like, Dan Ricker, like everyone talks about this thing. It's time. And then like in life in general, time is a secret ingredient, just, in relationships, pizza, everything you want something, a good result. It's going to result with that time that you put into it.
Yeah. Time and patience. And I feel like patience is one of the biggest things in life that I'm working on right now. It's difficult. Like we live in a society where we want things just way too fast.
Yeah. And patience is definitely a skill that like not everyone has. And especially like being in the restaurant industry, like you have to have patience with, people that you are hanging out with and your team. And then, customers that are never going to be fulfilled with whatever it is, but patience is quite the virtue, they say.
They say. How long have you been in the restaurant game and when did you get started?
I have been in and out of pizza since I was 18. So I'm 36. I'm not good at math, so I'm not going to do it.
I'll do it for you. 18 years.
Yeah. Delivering pizza when I was like 18 and also working at a grocery store. And then, I came down to Los Angeles and worked for music and worked in studios. Studios like slowly started closing because of the invention of Pro Tools and like GarageBand and Fruity Loops. You didn't need these big studios. So I lost the job and I got a job delivering pizza again. And now I'm here.
Where did that transition happen from delivering pizzas to opening up a restaurant? Was there like a light bulb that clicked? Did you find money somewhere? How did it all begin?
So I loved delivering pizza. To this day, it's like probably my my most favorite job of all time, especially
Why?
for like what?
Why?
Oh my gosh, like it's exhilarating. You're on the road. You're, as a musician, I'm listening to like whatever I wanted to, my mixes. And like, I've always made it a game and a competition. Most of the time I do that with everything that I do. So it's like, I'd be like, I'm going to crush everyone tonight. And I'm going to take 40 deliveries and you're going to take 15 maybe. And so it was just like, it was a lot of fun. I was working with like a lot of dudes and other people that were like, they brought a great vibe to this shop. And I don't know, it was like, you do your stuff, you do dishes, and it was a good environment. And, you're on the road more than half the time. And, it's just you and the delivery bag.
Free spirit.
Yeah. And it worked out. It was super flexible with like playing shows or like having to go on tour. And so like, it just worked out. And I mean, I'll deliver pizzas at Hot Tongue or Purgatory, get in my car, and it's like instantly like I want a Parliament cigarette. I want to just like start blasting tunes. I'm thinking about like I'll get a bottle of Jameson, like all these habits that I used to have, like just start coming back, like flushing down my spine. I just like start getting these flashbacks of being, 26, 28, 23, just like, let's fucking go. Then I realized that, that's not what I do anymore. And it's, smoking's not good, but yeah. And, what I realized is that I made a transition because music in itself is like running a business, which like I found out, but I did music for, since I had been 12 years old and then tried to do it out here in Los Angeles. And it's like really wearing. It can be really depressing. You work super hard. It's kind of like cooking. You work super hard and like some people don't give a shit. Like people don't show up. You go set up for a show and like 5 of your friends come and show up and like, it just gets old. You're paying for practice spaces, equipment, blah, blah, blah. So I got really burnt out and I loved being in a pizza restaurant. I was making a transition from driving to managing because I had bought a brand new car and I just ran my Honda Civic into the ground. Rest in peace. She was amazing. And so I wanted something different. And I left the job that I was at and I went to Purgatory Pizza and started back over as a driver. And the owners over there just let me do whatever I wanted. And within 6 months, I had like doubled. And that was like a pirate ship. Over there was 7 employees and people were looking at me like, why are you moving so fast? Why are you cleaning that? Like everyone was just kind of doing their own thing. They were all in bands, but like no one gave a shit, which was cool. That's what they were into. But we had doubled sales in 6 months. We doubled sales again a year later. And then like I got an opportunity for investment. I quit music completely. It just like wasn't for me. And then I just took off from there.
Wow. That's awesome. It seems like you were kind of built for the restaurant industry and that's why you thrived because I mean, it had a similar kind of appeal to it compared to music. And then you just, I don't know, is it safe to say you fell in love with the process over here in pizza? Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's like a punk rock thing in pizza. I think like it's very common to go to a shop and like, see a bunch of dudes with tattoos or girls with tattoos and just like everyone doing their thing. And like, and that was appealing to me. And also just like the art behind cooking food. I found so much creative energy in like putting myself into that. And then I didn't have to worry about band members. I didn't have to worry about a manager booking shows. I mean, granted there came many other problems, insurance, staffing, COVID, plumbing issues. But those were all things that I was in control of. And there was a beauty in that I fell in love with.
That's cool. Can we talk more about the ownership part? Because like I think that's an amazing opportunity for somebody to just get in to owning a pizzeria is that you work your ass off and then you show your value and then you get offered this opportunity. Can you talk in detail about like what that looked like?
Yeah. I mean, I worked my ass off. I mean, I think it was super apparent that like within the small time that I was there, that things were changing. The owners there were very hands off. But you can show your value very easily, I think. I mean, I have worked with other people on my team that have gone and opened up their own shops, and you almost can see it day one, like, oh, that person's going to go do their own thing, and it's going to be fucking awesome. And so I was supported in that venture, and I worked my ass off, and I got that opportunity. And I feel like, you set an intention and you manifest things, and I was putting everything into it. You can ask my wife, like, I was gone, I was not an owner, but I was there 12, 13 hours a day. Like, I was grinding out as if I was an owner, because I was so exhilarated and excited about what I was personally putting into the business that it wasn't even about money. It was just like, holy shit, like, what else can I do? And then I think I could back that up with data. And then there was an opportunity that I was like, you know what, look what I just did. I can go do this somewhere else. And then they were like, no, don't leave. And so I stayed.
So do you still own a piece of Purgatory Pizza today?
I do.
Okay. Can you talk about your ownership stake? Like, how much of it do you own? Things like that?
I'm a 50% stakeholder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that how it started?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was like my offer. I stood, again, like, I was very, I don't want to say lucky because I deserved it, but that was going to be the deal. And if I was going to stay there, I wanted 50%. And then there was some back and forth, and that's what it was.
What did the owners see other than your hard work and grit? You talked about like improving the store overall. What kind of metrics did they look for, and maybe you'll look for in a future partner?
One, I don't think I'll ever have a partner. And
you're gonna have to tell me why later.
But metrics wise, I mean, like, you could see the data. Like, you could see the sales month over month. You could look at the pizza. We could just go back to the Yelp in 2014, and go to the Yelp a year later and just see the quality. Like, there was no scheduling. There was a calendar on the wall that everyone just used to write whatever days they wanted to work. And then if people didn't want to work a certain day, they just closed early. So it was like really easy to show all these things that I had implemented. I mean, then even the branding, me and this other dude, Dane, who's incredible, we redid the whole branding. It was basically like revigorating or like reopening a restaurant. So there was all these things you could look at that was like, all right, here's the value of this guy.
That's cool. And so going back to the question, why not have a partner in the future?
I don't want to say like I'm a control freak, but I don't like to ask anyone a question about why I'm doing something. I am very passionate about the decisions that I make and like the things that I want to do. And I don't want to ask for permission or go through somebody. I just want to go like, I know this will work. Like, let's go. Like, and then you can get into some roadblocks with partners. And I'm not saying like I had I'm not talking shit or anything. I'm just saying like at Hot Tongue, I can buy the oven I want. I can get the mixer I want. I can do anything I want. And the only person I have to answer to is my wife. And, and that's really like the only partner that I want going on on my pizza adventure.
That's understandable. I can see the benefit of having a partner, and I can see the strain of having a partner. And I guess it just depends on the type of person that you are. And maybe because I am unaware of what it's like to be in a pizzeria setting with a partner, I definitely can't speak on it, but I definitely can see there has to be some benefit too, right? I don't want the audience thinking like, fuck a partner. Would you say?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like saying fuck a partner for sure. Like,
okay.
I definitely think that like there's situations out there. I just think that like, even with your friends, even if I go back to music, like that's a partnership, and you're heavily depending on somebody else in your life. And like, we change constantly as human beings. And if somebody is not on your level or your vibration and like things change, like, it's very easy to go like, to go like this. And then, it's a marriage. You guys are in contract. Somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, not helping out. Like, obviously there's legalities, but it can definitely destroy a friendship and it can destroy a business.
For sure. So pick your partners very, very carefully. And my bad, I also throw the F word pretty loosely around in my life. So I was not saying F it like never, as in never, but just pass. Yeah. Just to be clear for the audience. So tell me more about Hot Tongue. I mean, you opened up this vegan concept on your own, and so far it looks like it's been rocking and rolling pretty smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, it was a terrible nightmare, but a great learning experience getting it open. Like, and I wanted that. That was something that I wanted in my back pocket. And then now being open for 4 months, it's very interesting because all I have to compare it to is when I was like revigorating Purgatory. But it's right now I'm just trying to wrap my head around the inconsistency of like having a great week and then like having a week that's like super scary because it's like it can be terrifying when like your labor's at like 58% out of nowhere. And the Instagram shows like a picture of like, oh yeah, they're crushing it or they're doing a good job. And, we're doing our best. We're making fire ass food. But as a business, getting people through the door, educating people that like, you don't have to be vegan to eat this food. Like, not putting, normies. No, I'm just joking. People that don't eat, vegan stuff. It's like there's a battle that it is being a business owner. So it is going great. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it better.
Right. I mean, we always are. I mean, the type of personality that I have, I'm always trying to find out ways to make things better. And like you said earlier in the beginning, it takes time, it takes patience. You just opened up this year, and I would like to dive in a little bit more about like the good weeks and the bad week, not bad weeks, but the great weeks, the good weeks, the not so great weeks, and break that down a little bit more for people to learn. But real quickly, are you yourself vegan, or did you just have this, this desire to open up a vegan spot?
No, I'm vegan, and I really like that. I expanded on that whole section of Purgatory's menu too. And then like, this is definitely like an extension of like leveling up that I've done here. I mean, this restaurant is like very much myself. You come in, it's probably like what my brain would look like. It's exactly how I want things. It's the food I want to eat. It's very personal. So it's like, if you came in and you're like, wow, this place sucks, you probably wouldn't like me. So yeah, I'm vegan. This restaurant's vegan. That's what's
okay.
Up.
So talk to me about like the good weeks and the bad weeks. You mentioned like 58% labor.
Yeah. So you have a great week, and a great week for me is, your food cost is under 25% and your labor's under 32%. That's like what I'm looking for, in my restaurant personally. And so when we hit those numbers, it's like, yeah, awesome. And then, when you have a week that your labor is at 58% and somehow your food cost is at 33, you're like, oh shit, payroll's coming up. And like, I'm going to be, I'm going to have $900 left in the account. So, it's just like a balance. It's like, oh, what do I do? Do I post more reels to Instagram? Do I go flyer? Do I, run a special? Do I pay for Google advertising? And it's like, the answer is, yeah, you do all those things. And I'm just throwing darts at a board and hoping that like we hit a bullseye. Like you said, it's early days. My wife keeps saying that it's early days. Be patient. Like, there's a lot of people in the neighborhood that still don't even know we're here. But as a person that I am, I want it now.
I feel that. Same for me. Like, I want my podcast to blow up as soon as possible. But, sometimes I feel like things happen for a reason. And maybe I'm not ready for my podcast to blow up. Maybe I don't have the systems all down. Maybe I don't have the mental capacity to respond to a viral video, things like that. So that's kind of how I see things. I'm just like training my muscles to be ready for that moment and just showing up consistently.
Yeah, no, that 100% makes sense. I mean, your podcast has blown up a little bit though. I mean, like from, when you started to where you are now, right? Like you can see the growth.
No, I definitely can. And it's just remembering that, this is a small little speck in the entire scheme of things. And same thing for opening a restaurant, I imagine. It's like, how long, when did you open?
We opened February 18th.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And earlier you mentioned that you had a little bit of a nightmare opening up, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it was like, it boiled down to like really bad communication with the general contractor and really just like everybody. It was having no idea what the fuck I was doing. Me and my wife were not asking the right questions. And, I don't want to say we were taken advantage of. We just didn't ask the right questions. And when it was time to like, it's like the only process that like you don't get the cost for until like you're bidding it out, imagine going to the mall and like getting a t-shirt and you're like, oh yeah, I want this. And you get to the register and then they tell you the price. Like that's kind of like what it was. And so that was like super overwhelming because by the time after all the permitting and shit, we got to bidding, it was like, we don't have this money. And that was the thing. It got delayed. That was the constant thing. We don't have this money. And it was basically like a year and a half panic attack of just like, how the fuck are we going to do this?
How much does it cost to open up a pizzeria in Los Angeles? Because you're in Silver Lake, right? Welcome to the What's Good Dough podcast and get ready to level up. But before we continue with the show, I want to introduce you to my two show sponsors, Uni Pizza Ovens and Cordo Olive Oil. Let's start with Uni. They are the #1 pizza oven company in the world with the best community there is. Because of their ovens, I have made some of the most amazing pizzas. From round pies to squares, I'm able to get to temperatures of up to 900 degrees, allowing me to cook the pizzas of my dreams. If you're looking to grow your pizza business, buying an Uni makes sense. My past guest Ryan of Sanctuary Pizza has a mobile catering company powered by Uni. These powerful ovens are efficient, lightweight, and can be used almost anywhere. Whether you take pizza seriously like me or want to run a pizza operation like Ryan, Uni is the choice for you. Use the link in the show notes and join the Uni community. My second show sponsor is Cordo Olive Oil. At first, I didn't believe that olive oil mattered. It wasn't until I got educated and learned about the difference between commodity oil and Cordo's fresh squeezed olive oil that I ditched the supermarket stuff. Today, I only use Cordo Olive Oil when it comes to making my dough and even doing a post-baked drizzle. I have even made some amazing pesto with it. Oh my goodness. Cordo's high-quality olive oil does really elevate anything it touches. My buddy Chris, who runs A Slice of New Jersey, just switched over to Cordo. Not only is he getting quality, but he ended up saving money by switching over too. If you're still unsure of the difference, pizza operators can sign up for a free olive oil tasting. Use the link in the show notes to learn more. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my show sponsors and supporting this show. How much does it cost to open up a pizzeria in Los Angeles? Because you're in Silver Lake, right?
Yeah.
That's a decent area.
Yeah, it's a decent area. And you would have to put into perspective that like we ended up paying like almost 67 grand in rent because I didn't have a good, I thought I'd be open in 6 months after signing the lease. That was not the case. So I paid almost a year and a half of rent. And like, there was all these other costs that showed up because construction took so long. But I mean, I'm not going to say exactly how much it was, but I would say that I'm not doing this again unless I have $1 million.
And is that like a, go ahead.
This was a full build out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we gutted it, new plumbing, new electrical, new hood, new everything. And in this city, I would not even look at even trying to do this again without $1 million.
My goodness. Yeah. I mean, I've heard some horror stories about build outs, new build outs specifically. A lot of people tell me just change up an existing pizzeria that's already permitted, but shit, I mean, it really just depends on what your end vision is and goal, and I guess how much change you have in your pocket.
Yeah, or don't.
Don't.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely go with a second generation restaurant. I mean, like, you can always cosmetically, you can always change your dining room, you know, like if it has a hood and you can get a 4-top in there and your pizza oven, like, you're golden. Your hand washing sinks, like, you don't need a custom kitchen to, you know, show people your love of food. You need an oven and maybe a 4-top and a fryer if you want to get crazy. You know, and then your dining room, as long as like there's room to wiggle there, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. I mean, that's where really your personality shows out, I guess, because I've seen some pretty cool dining rooms, but then like 1% of people get to go in the back and see the kitchen, right?
Yeah. No one's coming in the back. I mean, it's a crazy thing to spend a ton of money on, you know? But I mean, and a lot of times, like, COVID changed the way people are dining out. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but like, people just aren't dining in as much. And if they are, it's like only outside. And I mean, maybe that'll change with more time. But it's like, you know, you spend all this money on this beautiful dining room, and then like no one wants to sit in it.
That's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think with time it'll change. And LA is like a little crazier than probably most, you know. But
well, at least I feel like at least you're in an area where, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but at least you're in an area that welcomes vegan foods. Or is it like oversaturated with vegan options? What do you think?
No, I think there's like always more room for vegan options. And like, I would be sitting here lying if I didn't say that, like, I think that I'm probably one of the best in the world doing it. I confidently think that. And so I'm very confident that like I can bring people in here, they can have the pizza and they're going to enjoy it, whether they're vegan or not. I mean, like what I hear all the time is people come in and they say, hey, I just want to tell you, like, this was really good. I'm not vegan, but this is really good. Like everyone who's not vegan has to give me the disclaimer. And it's like, hey, listen, you don't have to tell me you're not vegan. Just let me know that it's good, because the thing is, I didn't set out to make vegan pizza. You know what I mean? Like, I'm making pizza that I like to eat, that I would eat. And there's a balance, you know, you put a balance on any piece of bread and it's going to be fire. And just because I don't have meat or dairy on my slice of bread, that doesn't take anything away from what I'm doing or my process, you know? And it's hard not to have like a little chip on my shoulder. I'll go to the expo and like people be like, oh, the vegan guy, you know, it's like, but, you know, I can compete with any slice in this city, cheese or not. And so, that's like really what I'm trying to do. I make pizza, you know, that happens to be vegan. I'm not making vegan pizza.
Oh yeah. I love that. And what you said earlier is like a 2-part like problem to solve. It's like 1, get people in, and then 2, prove that the food is good. I'd like to break down first how the food is good. Maybe talk about just your recipe kind of creations, because I imagine you're making everything. Actually, I've seen you make a bunch of stuff in-house. And so I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about how you're getting people in the door, because again, going off of Instagram, I see your reels and they're fun. And I want to talk about that. So let's talk first about like what you're making in the store and how you're so confident about your delicious house pizza.
Well, first, I think everyone should be confident. I mean, if you spend X amount of time somewhere and money on what you do, and you're not
Yeah.
confident, you don't think like you're one of the greatest doing it, then what are you
Hmm.
doing?
Hmm. Powerful.
So, of course, I'm going to wake up, look in the mirror, and be like, "Let's go." You know,
Fuck
I'm gonna go smash today, and I'm gonna go make the best pizza in America that I can, best version of it for myself, in my opinion. And so my process is, again, we talk about time, so it's like you do stuff like the auto lease, you use the sourdough starter. And this is also stuff that I want to say is personal to me. It's also pizza. So you can, and what I love about pizza is you can go and get some King Arthur flour at the grocery store. And like I said at the beginning, and you can make a pizza that's just as good as the stuff that I do in here. It's just, you put that time, that energy into it. I'll come back to that, but we use the sourdough starter. We do auto lease. We do 6 folds. We let that ferment. We then roll that out, and then we let it ferment for at least another 24 hours. And like, that's the love. Every shop has one thing that's different than everybody else's, and that's their dough process. Everyone can use grande cheese. Everyone can put esso, pepperonis and shit on their pizza. You can buy the most fresh produce, but you're just all that stuff isn't yours. You know what I'm saying? So your profile is this piece of bread, and that's where we spend the most attention to. And then other than that, like, a lot of people make their own dressings. It's nothing special. Everyone gets on, well, we make our own dressings, and we, I mean, it's impressive when somebody's grinding their own sausage and like putting it in cases and seasoning it. But again, that's going to be for yourself, because most of your customers, 90% they're not even going to know. You know what I mean? So much of being a chef is your ego being put into things like, oh, I'm going to make everything from the ground floor up. But if you didn't do some of those things, probably 90% of your clientele wouldn't know. Anyways, I think I'm going on a bit of a rant, or I'm getting off track, but that's some of the processes.
I'm taking notes over here, man, because I love what you said about like your dough is your profile. And I think that's going to be the intro to this show, is that that really stood out to me. It's like, most of the things restaurateurs or even home pizza makers are going to just buy their toppings. But as Peter Reinhardt says, like, a great pizza or a great crust is really, based off of the dough. Like a good pizza can be good, but a great pizza has to have a great dough.
That's everything. It is literally everything. That's why they say bad pizza is good pizza, because like, it is. Like, you put sauce, cheese, and some toppings on that, it's going to be fire. Cheese is bomb. No one's arguing that. It's delicious. And then, if you can have a dough that's background noise, that's fine. You can have that. But like, really, that's what you're serving people. If you're a pizzeria and your dough isn't just, people don't get to the end and they're like, wow, this dough is so good. Mm-hmm. I think that there's probably a problem there, because, if your toppings your toppings can shine, but the dough has to be the volcano of flavor,
Yeah. Do you think that, like, as a restaurateur, you said you had to educate your customers as they come into the store sometimes, and I'm wondering, like, does the general public need a lot of educating when it comes to dough? Because it seems that way. Like, when people think pizza, they think Domino's, and they're not like, worried about like how good the dough is.
I mean, 100% is education. And like, the problem with it is, like, when I started really tinkering with shit and using poolishes and like spending, hours reading books and like trying to figure out, like hyper mixing stuff and like super high hydration, I'm going to bring it back to kind of what I was talking about. I was doing all these things, and people were like, oh, this is so good. But like, people already really liked the other stuff. And it was like, well, I spent 3 hours on the Detroit this morning, doing all these folds and hyper mixing and stuff. But like, this straight dough mix is getting the same results from the customers. So it's like, trying to tell somebody like, hey, like, this is a hyper mix and I'm using Caputo Americana that costs $40 and like, no one gives a shit. So it's true. It's like that's kind of like where I settled. It was like, I was trying to on Instagram be like, this is what we're doing. This is what we use. And I've kind of stopped a little bit,
because nobody cares,
because no one gives a shit. Like they're going to come in here, they're going to taste the food. And so much of that, what you're using in the background that's you as a chef. That's like how much you give a shit. You know what I mean? I spend $50 a bag on flour because that's what I care about. Could I make that with an all Trumps bag? Probably. Could I save $30 and no one would know? Maybe. But the education, it almost started feeling like a waste of time.
So that said, what flour do you use today?
I use a blend of Heron Springs and Central Milling Organic.
So you still use the good stuff, but you just don't tell people about it.
No, I don't need to and I used to blast the bag. I wanted to be like, I wanted like Central Milling to like see me. And like, I kind of got obsessed with like, look I'm a good pizza maker. Internet, like check it out. You know what I mean? I got wrapped up in that a couple of years ago. And then I was like, you know what? This ain't for anybody else. This is for me. Yeah. This is for like the staff and the team to know, like, this is what we use. This is what we're about. And where people are going to be educated is it's in every bite, So somebody who says, holy shit, like I'm not vegan, but I'm from New York and this is delicious. That's what counts.
You said you were going to go back to King Arthur later. Is that kind of the reference that you were making?
Oh no, I was going to go back to King Arthur because King Arthur's fire too. I use King Arthur. What I wanted to go back to, I mean, we're going all over the place, but
it's all good.
I wanted to talk about this because, Uni and like the pop-ups and all this shit that's been happening. I wanted to like, from a pizza owner, it was like, and I don't know if this has been talked about, but during COVID, there was so many pop-ups in LA, like popping up, and these pop-ups were like getting straight clout, like, and it was crazy. Like they were getting written up about in Eater and the LA Times. They were being put on like top 20 pizza lists. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I have 30 employees. They're all wearing masks. We're scared off our ass about COVID. Like we're out, I'm paying insurance, blah, blah, blah. And my dumb brain is getting like, I'm like judging it. I'm getting like super jealous of like, this dude's in his backyard fucking raking it in, and like he didn't have to do all this shit that I had to do. And I was like, all right, that's stupid. Don't think like that. You're judging something that you don't know about. So I was like, you know what? I did like a commercial for, not a commercial, but something for like Smithfield. And I didn't feel that good about it because it's a pepperoni company. And I got some money for it. And I was like, I'm going to buy 2 unis and I'm going to fucking do this because I can't talk shit on something that I don't know about. And so I bought 2 unis. I started having parties at my house and I was like, this is fucking sick. I'm cooking pizza in my backyard under the stars. There's palm trees. This is like, it reminded me of like why I fell in love with making pizza. And I was like, I don't know why I was getting so pissed off. Like, I get this. And then I did my first pop-up and I was like, holy fuck, this is a lot of work. And it was like, it went terrible. Like all the pizzas were burning and I was like, oh my God, I don't miss this feeling. But, I got that perspective that I needed. And it changed the way that I thought about all these pop-ups. And it was so cool then when we were coming out of the pandemic to see these people getting brick and mortars. And I'm like, you know what? This is the shit. This is a model that should be used. If you don't have the $1 million or you don't have $300,000 for a second generation, like test out your ideas, become the home baker you want to be, sell on Instagram. Like this is what I was talking about with studios in Hollywood when I was working there. They were closing them down because of Pro Tools and Logic. And that's what I think the Uni and the Rock Boxes are. It's like a garage band and you get this professional oven in your backyard and you can just go, you know what I'm saying? And there's something really magical about it and I love it. I think that's
what.
But and King Arthur is what I use for all my pop-ups.
Okay, thank you. I was like, you know, I have to agree just because I'm a new Uni user for one, but I'm also a content creator, right? It's like if I wanted a radio show back in the day, don't let me get started on the qualifications. If I wanted to be on the TV or whatever, same thing, right? And so like the democratization of like all of these dope things of owning a restaurant and having a platform, all of that stuff is happening today, and it's a beautiful fucking time to live.
Yeah, it's dope. It really like breaks down a lot of barriers, and it's like you have no excuse. It's like you want to do some shit, do it. You know what I mean? Like there's so much opportunity in the internet and, you know, things, technology stuff that's coming out that like, I don't know. It's a crazy time to be alive.
Curious to know, like you clearly went out and like didn't, you know, judge something without actually doing it. And now it seems like you give respect to the people who did do the pop-ups and whatnot. And I can see how there was some kind of animosity between restaurant owners and these pop-up operators during the pandemic because it's like, oh, they're taking my business, blah, 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 bullshit. Do you think that's still happening today?
That people feel that way?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think, yeah?
I think people feel that way. I think people fear stuff they don't understand. And like, I think it's easier, like in an old school mentality to be like, oh, you got to go through your woes to get like to where you want to be or whatever, you know? And, so yeah. And I think just naturally people, instead of root for people, they get super jealous. It's like it's always easier to be negative. Those thoughts are always going to come quicker. They're going to be easier to hold on to. And like, people just got to step back and everyone should be cheering for each other. Whether you're in a backyard or you have a fucking 100 seats in your restaurant, like everyone's just trying to do the same thing and make the best shit that they can and get it out to the people that want to buy it.
I feel that. Good stuff. Before we leave just like the dough, because I want to get into marketing your pizzeria, because I think you're doing a hell of a job. You said you're using central milling and Karen Springs.
Yeah.
I see you have the spiral mixer in the back.
Can you see
That's tight.
That shit.
Yeah.
That changed my life right there.
Tell me more.
I'll never have a planetary mixer again. Never, ever again. Squash that. Get that out of here. Sorry, Hobart. Later.
Hobart's making a spiral.
Yeah,
I saw it at Pizza.
It's like probably like $20,000.
How much that cost you right there?
That was like on a sick ass deal. That was like something like, I think it was like $8,400, but you know, get yourself a credit card. I have about 15. I'm looking at like $150,000 in debt. Don't trip. Whatever. It's in the cloud. Is it real money? I don't know. But that was $8,400. I don't know. But it was it's sick. And I had never worked with a spiral mixer. We started cooking 2 weeks before we opened, and I figured it out. But it was dope. It is dope.
I love it. Cool. And what's your hydration on your dough?
Hydration is 68%.
Okay, so it's up there.
Yeah,
cool.
When we cook in a Pizza Master at 623 degrees. So,
okay. How long?
Pie's baked about 4 or 5 minutes.
Sheesh.
And then I don't know if anyone's out there or you're out there, you got some tips on the uni. I'm like, I cannot get that crispy bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Right. Bring the temperature up to like 8, 9, and then just turn off the heat when you launch. And then put it on. Huh?
You just clip the heat off.
Clip the heat off for a minute or two, and then check the bottom occasionally. But then what I'll do, are you on the Unicoda 16?
Yes.
And then do you know the low and slow?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Put it on the low and slow for a few minutes and aim for like a 4-minute bake.
Okay. Yeah, I've never fucked around with actually just turning it off. We blast it for 45 minutes as hot as it can go, and then we turn it down all the way, and then we run the whole whatever we do.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna do like a pop-up sequential, that might not be
Yeah.
the way to do it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm talking about like
At
doing
home.
a couple pies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give that a go.
Hey, Pizza Pal. I just want to say thank you for listening to the show so far, and thank you for making it all the way here. Before we get on to the end of the show, I want to remind you all to please leave a rating on the podcast. You could do it right now. Just go ahead and click 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. It will greatly help the show. I appreciate you so much. And if you're looking to buy an uni or a second uni, the affiliate link helps the show so much. So please use that anytime you're considering a new oven. All right, enjoy the rest of the show. Okay, yo, I want to say you and comment on the fact that like this is your brain, your personality into your pizzeria, and it's also on your Instagram. Like I feel like your IGs are like all over the place, like with a camera just going vroom, 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 and I'm just getting dizzy. And then next thing you know, I see some amazing pizza, and then I see like I don't know if they're your employees dancing and stuff. It just, I applaud you, man. You're putting stuff out there. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that we're living in a world too where it's like, especially like reopening Hot Tongue and trying to like get a gauge again on social media, because I fucking hate social media. I'd rather live in the real world. But I understand that it's a tool and that we all use it. And when I had given up social media at Purgatory a long time ago, and but it was a different ball game when I came up there. You know, we started with 0 followers, and there's 23K organically grown followers there. But it was a different time. In 2016, 2017, you could drop your camera in portrait mode and fucking get some good lighting, and boom, you got 900 likes. It was a different, and a nice caption about like how much you care and what flour you're using, and but now it's like TikTok. Everyone has a 7-second mind 7-second mind. I like that. It's not even about food anymore. It's like, and that's kind of where I changed my perspective. I was like, all right, I had all these food photos taken at Hot Tongue, and I was going to use them for posting. And I was like, you know what? Everyone just loves content. And you know what? Like, let's make the social media like more of an experience of like kind of what it's like to work in the back, or like, shit that we think that's funny. And because you could come into the restaurant, you'll see the food, you'll taste the food. That's good. That's delicious. But why don't we make the Instagram or the social media more of an experience of like what it's like to work here, or like some fun shit. And there's been like, what I've really loved is like the creative shit that we've done. Like we like even got a couple costumes off Amazon, and it's just like, it's been like a fun thing to do. Like people are like, we making a reel today, and it's like, and it comes down to, it's like people will talk about not being able to hire anyone, and I never had that problem, and it's not the same everywhere, but it's like, if you can create an atmosphere and a social media account, or and you can see the vibe of the shop, then people are gonna be like, I want to work at that place. That fucking place looks rad. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And that has helped with hiring and stuff. And it's just, I don't know. It's like, it's a lot of fun.
I like that. I guess my first question that I was thinking about earlier, and I guess you kind of answered it, was like, one of my questions was it hard to get your employees to get on this train, and it seems like it came natural, huh? No,
like they were all like, yo, this is fucking hilarious. After like the second one we did, and like, it just like brings good energy. Like, honestly, people like, it's something that you get to share. I get to share. They get to share. And like, it's funny. And it's like, all right, now how do we top the next one? Like what can we do next? It's like, it's funny, and still tasteful. So it's brought a different kind of energy to the shop, and it's like, it's been fun. And I'm like, I'm connecting with the youths.
You're not that old. What is, I guess, your framework for creating content? Like, other than like, let's top the next one? Like, how do you decide what videos to create?
Well, honestly, you can scroll through reels and kind of see like shit that's trending, like dumb stuff people are doing, and then like and redoing with the same songs and like the same idea. Like there's the Darude Sandstorm where it's like, you're 40 if you know this song, and anyone knows Darude Sandstorm. That shit slaps. So I saw that and I was like, all right, well, we're gonna do a version of this. Or like the Better Off Alone thing where like and you move the frames and like people are doing it with their dogs and shit. And I was like, let's do it in the front. And so it was like kind of copy and pasting that shit. And then also just like weird shit that comes to people's minds. Like, hey, let's do one about delivery and we'll throw the pizza bag to Andy 3 different times. And so like, everything is creative. I like the creative process of a reel or making a t-shirt or a pizza, but it's like, again, it's like a whole experience that's supposed to be wrapped up here, not just like a come grab a slice.
Got it. So you look for the techno ones that kind of like off on.
Love the EDM, dude.
No.
You do it too, dude. I'm sure you spent some days at EDC.
Dude, too many years.
Yeah, couple brain cells maybe.
Maybe too many, actually. That's cool. I like that strategy. I love coming up with your own. And I think ultimately it comes down to like what your goal is, which is to raise awareness for your restaurant, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything is honesty and integrity. And like, if like, that's not just me acting or anybody here acting, like we're all goofballs. And like, again, it's more of an extension of like, because to me, a restaurant, like a good restaurant is like, it's like a friend. You come in, people like kind of like, the restaurant, the stuff, the people. And it's like, you treat the restaurant like a friend. You don't talk about them behind their back on Yelp. You let them know to their face, like, but you get more of us and you get that honesty. But I would say that like, if you think Instagram and TikTok's whack as fuck, then like, I wouldn't waste my time. I would put that energy somewhere else. Like, I'm not saying, you kind of have to do these things, I think, but you can do them in an honest way to you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, unless you're this old school pizzeria who has a solid base and you're not going anywhere.
Well, yeah.
Right.
And exactly. And you built that and you don't need that shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're right. I said you kind of need to. If there's definitely other things and other platforms that you can put that energy to. So I think it comes down to just honesty, though.
Yeah. One thing that I heard recently when I was on a Clubhouse talk with Chris from the Nice Slice PA is that, he creates this, like, I haven't seen his Instagram because he actually paused it. But he was creating content on there and people would just see it and then they would go to his pop-up and they're like, I just wanted to meet you. Right. And I kind of saw that. No, I definitely saw that in the type of like content that you're creating. It's like, oh, these are my guys. Like I would definitely just want to meet them and then eat their pizza. And then it happens to be good. And the next thing you know, I'm like a longtime fan or a super fan, whatever.
Yeah. Like it's just another outlet to drive people in. And I think that like we live in a world where like it's like content. Now you're a musician and it's like, it's not even about your record or your album. It's like, how funny are you on TikTok? It's like content. It's the 7-second brain. Like everybody wants more. So, it is what it is. But, we did a reel about third-party delivery. And like, that was like one of the funnier ones. We did it in like one take just because third-party delivery, we don't need to get into it. But like, we had so many people come in. Like we had Uber drivers coming in and like people like, we're just like, yo, we saw your video. We thought that shit was funny. We like just wanted to come check you out. Some people didn't even come eat. They were picking up from the other restaurant. And like, Postmates driver came in and said, yo, that shit was funny. So
that's tight.
Yeah.
What's it like owning 2 restaurants? It's
hard as fuck. It's super hard. And it's like, it's really draining because it's not just like one concept that I'm going back and forth to. It's just a lot. One is in its infancy and the other is like a full grown adult. But needs to, well, I don't know about full grown adult, maybe let's say like a full grown teenager, and so I got to wear different hats for both. And I can't obviously be at two places at once. I have great general managers, but they need leadership. They need somebody to talk to. They need advice on how to handle things, so it's very tough.
How do you split your day up typically?
Typically I'm at Hot Tongue, basically Friday through Tuesday working in the shop. And then, I'm at Purgatory, Wednesday and Thursday, and then whatever days I can get in there, and then basically FaceTiming and talking on the phone.
Do you anticipate it getting easier on like your hours anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I think that. Well, I don't anticipate not being in the shop at Hot Tongue until like labor gets worked out at Hot Tongue. Like I'm here, and I want to be here, but we should talk about something like what's the main importance to me is that I have a family now, and like having a kid really changed my life. And so I do have two restaurants, but like the most important time is for my family. And going from working at like a 12-hour day, 7 days a week, like that was some shit that I wasn't going to do at Hot Tongue. And I do work 7 days, or I work 6 days a week now. I started taking Sundays off. But it is important to like that I make time for that, because that's my most important job.
Facts. How do you spend your Sundays when you have a day off?
Oh my God. I wake up with my son and we listen to some Justin Bieber. He just loves that shit. And he's like almost 2 years old, cooking some waffles or some oatmeal, and usually go on a walk with my wife. And then he goes down for his nap. Then we might go to lunch, get a beer at lunch, hang out with the kid all day, walk the dogs. Like, it's funny because like, it sounds like maybe a lame day if you told me this 5 years ago, but like, I love doing it. I love going to the park and like just relaxing and being with them, and put the kid down, maybe have 2 glasses of wine if I'm feeling crazy, and do it all over again.
It sounds like a great way to end the week and just kind of catch up, let your body catch up, let your family have some time with you.
Yeah.
You seem like a very busy guy. So.
Yeah. Well, everyone's busy,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
You're very busy. But
I always say that you should, people will be like, hey, I'm sorry I'm bothering you. It's like, I'm never a bother. Don't put that on me. Like, my phone's always on. You don't know what other people are going through or what other people are doing. Everyone's busy. Yeah. People that are like, oh, I'm such a busy guy, I don't have time for this. It's like, all right, well, fuck you.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's important to just give back as much as you can, because I've definitely taken a bunch of people's time, and so I'm always like, slide in my DMs, let me know how I can help.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, I always try to wrap up with these 2 questions, and feel free to take your time and answer them and, go into full detail. But what is one mistake in pizza, business, or life that someone can avoid?
Okay. I want to just do 2 things. In business, not having processes, not having written processes, whether that's like how to interview someone or how to build the pizza, or how to correctly build your pizza that you want it your way, to not have how to clean a dish, or, all these things like writing on the wall, but having a process for everything so that everyone is on the same page, literally. So your onboarding process is just like, shit, I know exactly what it's going to be like, and how to work here and what to do. And they have a clear understanding, and then there's no weird shit, down the middle, or you getting upset because somebody's not doing something wrong because it's all in your head and you're the asshole. So if it's all taken care of, it's all the process is there for everything in the restaurant, then no one can get mad, and everyone has a solid understanding of like what to do. And I struggled with that for like easily probably 2-3 years, because I didn't want to be McDonald's or Walmart, I wanted to be this cool fucking boss who was just like, hey, it's lax, but it wasn't lax. I'd come by and I'd be like, there's too much cheese on that. Like, what are you doing? And that doesn't make anyone feel good because they don't know how much cheese is supposed to be on it. And then the other thing is judgment. In life, I did a lot of judging. We kind of talked about that with the pizza thing. But when you judge people, when you judge new things, you limit yourself. And limiting yourself in anything is whack as fuck. You're basically you're building up a wall and you're saying, I'm not going to be open to that, you know? And so I would say, don't judge anything.
Yo, these two answers seriously could not have come at a better time. I feel like I'm working on both right now. And so I have to give it to you. Great fucking answers. And I mean, just to give a quick example, I am working on this note right here on my computer. It says standard operating procedures for editing a podcast. Because if I don't write it down, how am I ever going to teach someone? And if I don't write it down, my ass is going to do things differently because I'm feeling creative one day, and then it's going to take me 8 hours to fix that mistake or whatever the case may be, or I forget something. Ugh.
That's 100%.
So, yeah, it's so important. And then the judging thing, man, I can be an asshole sometimes. I'm not perfect. And it's definitely something that I'm working on to just be a better person in general. Kind of like what you were saying, like, I don't know what the fuck someone's going through. So if they're being an asshole at the grocery store or they're complaining about their job, I really don't know what the fuck is going on behind those eyes or that heart or that wall. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
What do you want to leave the audience with today?
I want to say that I asked to be on this podcast, and I used to think that, like, when I was in music, I used to always tell myself, like, why don't fucking people listen to me, or why aren't people coming to my shows? Like, I'm better than this, I'm better than that. And what I didn't realize is that, like, all these people were asking for help. They were asking to be written about. They were asking for people to come to their shows. They weren't expecting all this stuff. And what I've learned a lot in the past year and a half is that you need to ask. I think Arthur Bovino talked a lot about, like, putting yourself out there and, like, just sending emails. And if you want to be on a podcast, or you want to be written about, or you think, you know, you got this shit, you got this shit. And that's what I would say. Like, if you want to do all that stuff, don't wait for somebody else. Go get off your ass and do it. And you know, you're going to get no's, and that's going to be okay. Don't let that affect you, and just keep pushing.
And bring your A game when people do listen to the podcast and say, all right, I'm going to go check it out. And then they go to Hot Tongue Pizza and they're like, okay, it was worth coming here.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be mid as fuck. Always bring the flavor. Always bring the slam dunk. Because if you're mid as fuck, everyone's going to know.
What does that mean? I've never heard that term before. Mid?
Like, you're like medium rare. Like, it's like, yo, that was like whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
oh, that's a new term for me. I've never heard that. Mid as fuck. I just want to put out clarification on there that I have always wanted you to be on the podcast. I just never reached out. Justin Donay and Jessica told me about you a long time ago. They said that you were part of, do you know who they are?
Yeah.
Yeah. They said that you helped them out in the pizza game right when they were getting started out when they were in LA. And I was like, all right, Purgatory Pizza's on that list. And sorry, and we're going a little long here. Usually I end with your last words, but I just wanted to put out there that after you messaged me, I was getting people constantly after you. And I was just like, all right, this is weird, right? But I'm glad you're on, and you've taught me a lot, and I've vibed with your personality. So, and you got the truly in the background, and is that Lapadea?
Life. Cordo for life. You want some
Cordo for life.
It's the only olive oil. Shout out to my girl Amy. Rest in peace, Dino Cortopassi. Your book is fucking lit. Getting ahead. Go get that shit on Kindle. La Padella, fire. Corto, fire. Shit is fire. You ain't using this? Your shit is not fire.
Oh God. All right. You could put the olive oil back to where it belongs. You could take it out of the shit. Just there you go. Alex, this was fun, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to add in that we didn't cover?
No. I love everyone. I love the pizza community. Let's go get it. Let's love one another. Be nice to each other. Be empathetic. Every experience is a learning experience. Oh, I do want to say something. Selfless plug. I'm talking in Florida. I'm very excited for the pizza summit, pizza future summit. I don't know. It's some new shit. It's dropping the 9th or 10th. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's going to be sick.
Send me a link and I'll add it to the description so people can do it.
We talk everything vegan, not the scary stuff. Don't worry.
Thanks for your time, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Be good, man. Alex, thank you so much for being on the show. I vibe with your mentality. A reminder for the both of us, stay persistent and stay consistent. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see your journey continue. To you, the listener, I mean, come on. That was not mid-af. If you liked it as much as me, please make sure to check out Alex on Instagram at Hot Tongue Pizza or at Purgatory Pizza. Links to those will be in the show notes. Also linked in the show notes will be Alex's website where you can see all of his vegan recipes and a link to the upcoming talk that he's going to be doing. Again, if you want to do a deeper dive on the show, there is a transcript on the website. Check it out, restudy the information. Just check it out. Link will be in the description. I appreciate you for listening. I love you. Till next time. Peace.